I found out my husband has a group chat with his friends where he shares pictures of me, plus update. I feel absolutely violated and don't even know what to do with myself. I feel ashamed of going in public now. The worst part is that I told my husband I didn't like how some of his friends looked at me, and he told me I was dramatic and that they respected me a lot. But I was always right. They were looking at me weird because they had already seen everything about me. I found out because my husband and I took a road trip and my phone was connected to the Bluetooth. But after a couple of hours, my phone turned off and I wanted to play music on his phone. I had never looked through his phone before because I trusted him, but I saw a WhatsApp notification of a group chat and the name said something like, "Our wife." I thought it was weird and honestly I was thinking about him cheating or something. But when I opened the chat, I saw everyone was commenting on a picture of me in a bikini. I thought it was in poor taste, but then I scrolled more and more, and every picture was worse than the other. Me sleeping, showering, us being intimate. I don't even know how many there were, or how I never realized this sick individual was snapping pictures of me in compromising states. I didn't say anything and just pretended to sleep for the rest of the ride home and then went straight to bed. The next day, when he went to work, I packed some things and went to my sister's. I sent him a text saying I knew what he was doing and that I was contacting a lawyer, not only for a divorce, but also for the pictures. He's trying to reach me now, saying he can explain. It's not what it looks like. He loves me and doesn't want to hurt me. I am just numb because I know if I start thinking too much about it, I will collapse and won't be able to handle everything. I will do everything I need to do with my head cold, and then I will give myself time to cry about this. But not yet, because I want them to pay for their sick and perverted behavior. Now for the top comments before reading the update. I want to remind everyone of Giselle Pellicot and how her husband drugged her and invited other men to abuse her for years. This is a very serious crime that your husband has done, and God knows what else he does that you're not aware of. Don't be lenient. Don't downplay what he's doing. This is not just wrong but criminal, to say the least. Yeah, the fact that she saw that it said "our wife" is super concerning. The person you trust most in the world to protect you and keep you safe betraying you in this way is nauseating. He gets off on doing this to her, so there's no amount of therapy, prayers, or intervention that can fix this. Getting far away and getting the law involved is the only recourse. Men have gone to death row because another man sneezed in the same room as their wife, and here comes this guy who decided to take away her consent, knowledge, and agency, and has been exposing her to his friends for God knows how long. I'm so sad and hurt for her. Get the police involved. In most places, what he did was illegal. Him and all his little buddies will find themselves on the offenders list. I just wanted to have a lawyer friend with me for support. Act now, because he could delete all those photos and the entire group chat. You won't have the evidence. Don't communicate with him to tip him off any further. The police or a forensic specialist needs to find those photos. They could be in the cloud or on his friend's devices. I'm so sorry the person you trusted most in the world violated you in such an intimate way. What he did, and what they all did, is illegal, and they all need to be brought to justice. It's just sickening. I'm so sorry you're experiencing such a profound betrayal. I can't imagine what you're going through. You'll be dealing with these feelings for a while, but right now you've got to get your lawyer friend and get to the police as soon as possible. Please be sure to report this so you can get yourself off the adult sites. Go full nuclear. This man is a predator and I'm so sorry you got caught in his trap. Keep yourself safe. Be vigilant and never go back to him or even be alone with him. I'm not planning on ever speaking to him again. I will divorce him and take him to court for being a sicko. Edit/mini update. I went to the police to file a report, and I also filed for divorce. I'm still with my sister, but my lawyer told me not to talk much about it. She knows I made this post to not affect our chances in court. I just wanted to tell you all I'm fine, and that your support means everything to me. Please enjoy your holidays and goodbye. I don't think I'll update anymore, at least not anytime soon. Next story. My boyfriend called the cops because of the content of my book, but he wants me to think it was a mistake. How do we move past this? I, 24 female, have been working on my book trilogy for years, since I was 16. The book is how I met my boyfriend, John, 24 male. We met at some writing class 3 years ago and hit it off. John went to university for journalism and creative writing, but is not working in either field. I never intended to make money from my works, but I do. It's not my main profession though. Context out of the way, here's where things get weird. I asked John if he could read certain chapters and give notes on things to change or adapt. My usual beta reader was unavailable. Without giving too much away, the main character gets kidnapped and experimented on. It was written to be grotesque and horrifying, and I told John this before he started reading. He said he'd be fine. Well, I found out he made a call to the local police department because the description sounded too real and there was non-consensual stuff in the chapter. Not essay, the experimentation was not consented to by the MC. He didn't tell me he made the call. I found out because an officer came to my door the next morning for a welfare check. I was humiliated. I explained everything immediately, and they checked the house, saw nothing, and eventually apologized for the confusion. When I confronted John, he apologized and tried to say the story got in his head. He said it was a mistake, and that I should understand how someone could get worried given the content. He wants me to just drop it. I'm so freaking embarrassed and honestly really creeped out. My writing is dark, but I've been publishing for years, and he's read my material before. This was honestly not even the darkest, most effed up thing I've written. I don't know if this is something we can work through, or if this is a sign of a deeper issue. I genuinely can't imagine why he'd call the cops if he was so disturbed, but also stay at my place and be all lovey-cuddly. Could this be an honest-to-God mistake? And how do we move forward? Edit. When I say he made a mistake, I'm referring to calling the police as a misjudgment on his end, not that he literally didn't mean to call the police. What did he hope to achieve by calling the cops? I'm struggling to see how doing that could ever be in your best interests. He said he was concerned that I was processing something through my writing, and he knows my childhood. I wasn't abused or anything. My dad was just kind of an a-hole, which is why he called the cops. Basically, he was worried I had hidden some horrific abuse from him, and he wanted a paper trail. I don't even know if I believe him, but that's what he said. Not a mistake. He knew what he was doing. Plus, make sure you have multiple backups of your work saved to USB and that he can't get access to them. I'd also change your password and make sure he doesn't have any access to your computer. I don't trust that he won't destroy your work in the future. I have everything backed up to hell and back. No pun intended. It's not an honest-to-God mistake. He intentionally didn't tell you he had called the cops. It was a setup. I'm really curious what he actually said to the cops. Hi, this is Bob. I read a scary story that my girlfriend wrote. Please help? This dude is mentally unwell. He probably implied to the police that she wrote the offending material about kidnapping and non-consensual stuff, so thoroughly descriptive and real, that he believes she probably has the desire, plans, or current experience in doing these things. And this guy is 100% a lying a-hole. But there are also tons of people like this all over Reddit who think writers of books, movies, and TV shows write what they know, and that writing about things like SA, rape, violence, and murder for storylines is just the writer tacitly admitting they like those things, and it's what they really want to do to people. It's a freaking weird way to be and think. Last story. I regret leaving my husband. How do I move forward? 3 years ago, I, 43 female, left my husband, 45 male, of 13 years, together 18 years total. It was the hardest decision to make, but I ultimately felt like I had no choice. We had a wonderful relationship for many years. He was my best friend and was the only person who I could fully relax and be myself with. We traveled a lot, built a lovely home and life together with our dogs. We liked the same things, had the same sense of humor, and were very compatible in day-to-day life. He was chill and calm and really tried to make our life pleasant and happy. However, we were not compatible with the big things in life, mainly finances, house stuff, and communication. This became obvious after we bought our house. Previously, we lived in my condo and split all the bills 50-50, and our expenses were minimal. However, once we sold it, I had to pay off some debt from the sale, so he began paying the new mortgage and property taxes, and I paid all the bills, bought everything for our home including most of the groceries, paid for the initial renovations, and all of our dog's expenses. We both made good money, but he made almost twice as much as me. This became the default, and I know he resented me for it, but he would not bring it up with me and completely refused to discuss finances or make a budget. No matter what I said or did, he absolutely refused any communication with me about finances. This became a bigger issue when major home repairs were needed. Our furnace broke and we needed a new roof, among other things. And when I asked how we would pay for them, he would just say, "I don't know. I have no more money." I didn't have the means to do it myself, and I hated feeling in the dark and unable to fix the things that kept falling apart. Our yard needed a lot of upkeep, and whenever I would bring something up or try to make a plan, he would tell me that I had a bad attitude, or I'm never satisfied, or I hate our life. I know he tried his best, and to him it seemed like a personal attack, even though I was just trying to maintain our home. I am a person who likes to keep on top of things, and I hated the feeling of overwhelm and helplessness, and things getting out of control with no way to fix them. I felt like it was a sinking ship. Every time I would try to bring something up, he would storm off and I would follow him to try to resolve the issue, and it would become a very toxic circular argument with no resolution, ever. So this is why I left. I could see the writing on the wall and I couldn't see any way that it could work. To me, our life was completely unsustainable. It was an agonizing decision, and I tried so hard to get through to him and change things so I did not have to leave. I know I hurt him very badly. According to him, I decided I hated him and our life and just packed up and left one day. For the last few years of the marriage, I admit I was angry and resentful, and I treated him unkindly. I said awful things to him during our fights because I just wanted to be heard. He would not listen and talked over me constantly. I developed insomnia and health issues and started sleeping in the basement, and he feels I abandoned him as a wife. I was spending a lot of time and energy on my health, so I totally understand his perspective. But he was never open to changing our lifestyle or downsizing to make things easier on me or on us as a couple. For the first 2 years after leaving, my health issues were really bad, so that was my #1 priority. I was not doing well, so the divorce proceedings didn't happen until recently, when I retained a lawyer. He has done absolutely nothing concerning the divorce. He ignores letters from my lawyer. Because of how avoidant he is, I knew that it would all fall on me. I tried to do things amicably, but he refused to talk about it. He stayed in our home, and I initially lived with my parents. Now I am renting a small basement suite. I have not received 1 cent from him, so his lifestyle did not change, and I've basically started over with nothing. I continued to pay the bills there for a year after I left, to ensure he would be okay so he could make moves to buy me out of the house, which he never did. I think he feels entitled to it all because I'm the one who chose to leave. Regardless, recently having the time and space to reflect, I see his perspective. I see all of the ways that I've failed him and our life, and the ways I could have tried harder and done more. I feel so much guilt for what happened with my health and how it got in the way. I see how I did not appreciate him and the little things as much as I should have. I miss my old life so badly that my heart hurts. I miss his company. I miss the comfort of my home and our routines and special holidays. I feel like I have no purpose now. I don't want to start over. I don't want to get a divorce. I just want us to be able to work it out. I feel like as unsustainable as that life was, it's better than what my life is now. I have asked him if he wants to be divorced and he just says, "I don't know." He bailed at the last minute when I tried to go to counseling. He will avoid my calls and texts when I try to talk about the divorce, so nothing ever happens. I'm stuck in this awful limbo of not being able to live the life I co-created, but not able to move forward. What can I do? I want to be able to get through to him and fix it all. But if I can't, how can I move forward with all of this loss? How can I trust I made the right decision, even though it's not what I wanted at all? I think you are romanticizing the past big time. Nowhere on what you wrote I could read something positive about this guy. Differences on finances break relationships. You did nothing wrong by having boundaries and standards. Your health got bad because you were being used. And in a relationship that was not satisfactory, the body speaks what the mind doesn't accept. If he didn't want to go to counseling, then go yourself. You need to process where this regret is coming from and why now. Maybe you feel he's your past chance to be happy, or that after him you'll never meet anyone better. I promise you, you will. But you need to accept this marriage is dead, and it's not your fault he lacks communication skills to be in an adult partnership. Honestly, you need therapy. Any unbiased person who reads this can tell this marriage was toxic as hell, and not how a healthy functioning adult relationship should work. Your husband sounds like he has the emotional maturity of a 15-year-old. You need to get your head on straight, get the rose-tinted glasses off, and stop reminiscing about the good times. There are millions of men in the world, and you will meet someone who you are far more compatible with and can have a happy home and dogs/holidays with. If you sort things out with your husband, the issues will still be there and will probably be worse if anything. Force the divorce through. Get your money from the house even if it means forcing the sale. You are being totally mugged off here. You made your contribution to the marriage and joint expenses in agreement with your husband and are entitled to 50% of the assets. He's an adult. He will be fine. Don't delay any further. It's just dragging it out. My advice is find something rewarding to do with your time. Anytime you start getting nostalgic, pick up a book or go volunteering or make some art. Meet people who don't talk over you or avoid common sense discussions. You have been blessed with the opportunity for a new life. Don't stay mired in misery. Also, starting over can feel like a plane trying over and over to take off on the runway. Be kind to yourself. Eventually, you'll find yourself safe in the air. This is really good advice, thank you. I appreciate knowing something practical I can do when I get in my own head and feelings.